Bonjour, everyone. Hi. This is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do a daily live stream based on the divination cards drawn in the morning, and so that we can have a spiritual conversation about the cards. And welcome. It is January 16th. Wait, yes, 16th. And it's Wednesday. And welcome to Star Nations Academy, where I am broadcasting from, which is where I do most of my broadcasts from. And it is a beautiful day here in Toma, Wisconsin. We have sunshine and blue skies, but it's cold. Our high is 20-something degrees today, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so today is Wednesday, and at Star Nations, I used to say Tuesday is always a busy day, but I've come to know that the third Wednesday of every month is also a very busy day here. We have 3 shows for you today. We have this one. We're kicking it off with the daily live stream, and then following this show is Nature Adventures, and then later this evening is Holly Joe's show, Soul Connections. So we have 3 of them for you today. Oh my goodness! Look who's in the chat. It's Rob. Rob, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás, Rob? Yeah, it's good to see you here. I like your profile picture too. That's a great picture of you. I know it's been around for a while, but I've never actually said that to you. So today, the card draw. It was very quiet at my house. Why? Is because George is at puppy daycare, so it's very quiet here too. And so it was. I had a little bit more time to be able to spend with the cards and actually do just a little bit of a meditation with them. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, Julie's here too. Hello, Julie Hill. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Rochelle's here too. And we'll catch the archive. Have a great night, Joe. Okay. Glad you could stop in. Drive by. Rochelle's doing a drive-by hello. The live stream. Good to have you to stop by and say hi. And Robert is saying, muy bien. Bien. Hey, I've got something about that too. See if I can fit it in, okay? And Tina's here too. Hello, Tina. It's good to have you here. It's always good to see you in the chat. And Rochelle's going LOL. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like you were driving by and just kind of waving out your window at us, you know? Yeah, catch the archive because there's a couple things that I want to share that might be, you might find interesting, Rochelle, okay? Have a good rest of the day, Rochelle. Okay, so I spent some time with the cards this morning. I did a little bit of a meditation with them because I wanted to check in with my spiritual team and get quiet just to listen to what they had to say. And because I noticed something. It was more of a sensing because I can't, unless I actually go back in each one of the live streams that we've done, is to look for certain cards and see if it is true with fact that there's a pattern here, right? But what I did was I was sensing it, and so I checked in with my spiritual team. And basically what they were telling me this morning is that, yes, there is a definite pattern that if you just stop and just kind of turn your attention to the card draws and kind of do a little bit of a memory check, right, is the Spirit gives us a card that talks about using our gifts and doing whatever we need to do to be able to tap into our gifts, use them, ground our manifestations to the earth plane, and to do our healing so that we have more access to our gifts and our intuition, right? And then they'll talk to us about um, basically facing our fears, calling in the protection. They're different beings within the cards, their essence for protection, right? And once we have the protection up, and then they're asking us to take a look at our deepest fears, to look at those things that could be a block, maybe their ancestral patterns or something like that, right? And so they're asking us to actually take a look at them and to make decisions and movement toward healing those aspects, facing those fears. Yeah. And we usually get quite a big nudge to do that, right? And then they follow that up with the card that we got today. This is a card that comes up quite, every so often. The Mirror Guardian, right? Yeah. Because they want us to take the time to be quiet and reflect. To be quiet and reflect. And I was so excited for this live stream. I forgot to share it and like it. And I got out of my habit. Let's see. Where am I at here? I got to go to the fan page and find our live stream. Here we are. Very quickly, I'm going to do this because I want to make sure we have enough time to get this all in. And I'm just going to send it over to my newsfeed. And then I'm just going to ask them to please join me. There we go. There. Now I would normally send it over to the closed groups too. I should probably do that. It doesn't take that long. Just let them know that we're here. We're chatting it up. And to please join. There we go. And the Academy and the network. There, it's done. Because our time together is just a little shortened up today because we have Nature Adventures that follows us this afternoon, and I'm producing that show and co-hosting, so I have to make sure everything is set and ready for that show too. Okay, so here's the thing, is that we get this particular card every few weeks, right? Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. Take time to reflect. And when we get this card, it's about taking a look how far we've come and what we've accomplished, what we've gained. Taking a look at what we just went through, the life lesson, and to take time to reflect on that. And further is that we're asked to be quiet and to listen, to go into that quietness and to be still, right? Yeah. Hey, Bobby's here too. Hello, Roberta. Hello, Roberta. Good afternoon. Yeah, it's a sunny afternoon, isn't it? It's good to have you here. And so, for example, yesterday in the conversation, and I loved our conversation yesterday. It was helpful, definitely, but it was deep and it was rich, and we were talking about the question I asked was about the she-wolf. Remember, is have you ever been your true self? Yeah. Have you ever experienced that, being your true self? And that led to quite a conversation. And I think that we all learned a little bit of something from that one, right? And so anyway, when I was with the cards this morning and doing that meditation with these cards, is that's what they were showing me, is that, see, for instance, yesterday's conversation was, I could feel, I don't know if you could sense it, but I could sense there was some resistance to it, right? And I think it's natural. I'm not saying there's no good there's no bad or no good to that, okay? Because that is your feeling, that is your emotion or expression. And all I'm saying is that it was there. Okay? And I think that it came from all of us some in a small way and others in a much bigger way. And why is because there's some fear around. There's some fear around expressing our true selves, that we don't feel safe to do that, right? Yeah. And so with this card, Spirit is asking us to do some reflection on that. That was some pretty big work we did yesterday, and even bigger work possibly that you individually did because of that conversation. Even if what you did was you sat back and said, I would like to experience that, to be my true self and see what that feels like. To drop the things that cover the masks and who we are in one environment compared to who we are in another environment, right? And what would that be like? And so even if you just sat there and gave it a good thought, that's a movement in the right direction, I think. Hi, Violet. Good to have you here this afternoon. It's always good to see you in the chat. And so with this card, we're being asked to reflect on that. Reflect on it. And to also reflect on this pattern that we have. This pattern of that Spirit gives to us, to take a look at our gifts and encouraging us to use them, to apply them, right? To shine, to have our soul shine, and to do whatever it takes to be able to use our gifts, to do the healing and the releasing work, so that we have more access to them, the ability to use them. And then we're asked to face our fears, to heal what needs to be healed, especially around our belief systems, to release what needs to be released. And some of that can be kind of daunting too, and we're saying even in baby steps, if you can do that. And then yesterday's card is a prime example of that. And then today's card is about the reflection piece. And so we kind of go through plateaus, if you will. Hi, Andrea. Good afternoon. We kind of go through those lulls, and sometimes, and it's individual, the length. Sometimes it's maybe just minutes. Other times it could be hours or days, weeks, where we're waiting for that integration time to conclude, to be done. And then once we're finished with that integration time frame for ourselves, then we move into the next thing, the next experience, the next use of our gifts, and see. And this is the pattern that they showed me today, that they have been literally sharing with us since I started doing the live streams. So we get into this pattern, and what it's all about is our ability to use our gifts so that our soul is leading, and that we're in a balanced state. That's why it was so important to cover the grounding piece. which is a good reminder, right? Good reminder about the grounding. Who grounded today? Who is has the ability today to really take in um, what Spirit is offering you today as an opportunity to really take it in and absorb as much as possible in a calm, steady way. Even though sometimes it can, what they offer us comes in as a shock. Yeah, which I had one early this morning, which I'll share with you in just a second. And so with the Mirror Guardian, well, I just want to share just a little bit of what jumped out at me from what Kyle, the author of the cards, had to say. He said that this card invites you to witness your spiritual strength and beauty and to see yourself as the angels do. That the mirror represents the fact that your core beliefs and ideas are in fact what is reflected back to you by your world. And that you are being invited to take some time to see where you are right now. So it takes a little quiet time to do that reflection. What is it that you've just been through? What did you learn? How did you use your gifts? And how much growth you got from it? Right? How much growth? Yay! Anne said I grounded today. Good one, Anne. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for doing that, for grounding. Yeah, because now you're fully available, aren't you, for those opportunities? Fully available. Yeah. And so Kyle goes on to say that your angels are now guiding you to take inventory of your life, to take the time to note all of your recent experiences, the challenges you have surmounted, the strengths that you have developed, and the lessons that you have learned. To reflect on your strengths. And in that reflection, we get to know ourselves so much better, don't we? And so when we tap into that, our true self, is this my true self, right? We get closer to that, I think. Yay, Andrea did too. And so did Violet. Thank you, ladies. And so did Julie. Yay. Oh my God. Yay. You guys are doing really well. I know sometimes it feels like it's a small thing that I ask or I am happy for you. I'm happy for us whenever anybody does their grounding because you're just adding to that frequency of that calmness and that inner peace, right? Yeah, that stability. And so, yay! I am truly happy when you guys say that you have grounded. And knowing and feeling the difference between the two. Because I know, gosh, we're two-leggeds, we're humans, and it's like sometimes you forget or you're in one of those, we'll call them moods. You think, I'm not doing nothing today. I'm kicking back and I'm not doing anything. And you can tell the difference between the two, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and Rob is saying, I didn't do the exact meditation, but I've been more conscientious about grounding. That is great. That's good too, though, Rob, because you know what that means is that you're conscious. You're consciously aware of it. Yeah, and when you're doing the kind of grounding technique or method or whatever you want to call that, and you can start feeling it dissipating, and that you can feel it, right? And so that having to redo it, having to ground again, the more often that we do it, the longer periods of time we can hold it, and we're more conscious of, oh my gosh, okay, that lasted about 9 hours. What happened today? What did I ingest something? What, and you can kind of look at it and say, and that's the reflection part. Okay, well, I guess I need more rest. That would be me. Or gosh, I like Cheetos, but that's the only thing I did different. I had a small bag of Cheetos, and maybe the ingredients of that is what weakened the field, Or perhaps it's the caffeine, not so much because you had it, but the amount that you had, right? So you get to take a look at what is your optimal. What's your optimal? And so if you go ahead and have the Cheetos or the fourth cup of coffee, and you know that you're going to have to redo your grounding, that's fine. It's a choice. As long as you do your grounding, it's okay. It's all right. Okay, so we're in that reflection piece. Spirit is asking us to reflect, to take some time and do some reflection about your strengths. There's something that just concluded for you that taught you something, or that, and they're saying, you faced a fear, or you released a part of a belief system, or the whole belief system, right? And so now you need time to reflect, to integrate. And in that reflection, in that quiet time, something else happens. Because you think that you're you're kind of in a lull, you kind of, it's in that betwixt and between. And, you've heard me say this at least a dozen times, if not more, is that the magic is in the betwixt and the between. It's in those quiet times. Yes, we did the work, we did the active doing when we were doing the healing, or the releasing, or the facing, or the applying our gifts. And so we were active. And in order to have balance, we have to have the quiet. And in that quiet, we're doing that reflection. And eventually, your integration time is done. And so you start coming back into your world in more of an active mode. Okay. And for some people, it's like that. They were quiet and now they're active. And there's others that need a little bit more of a transition, right? A little bit more of a transition space. So the second card that came to support the reflection card, the mirror guardian, is this one, Seer. Let's see if I can get, there's a little bit of a reflection going on today with the sun out. Seer. I like that card. It says, see beyond the current situation. See beyond the current situation. So we can take this a couple of different ways, right? Is that when you're doing your reflection and you're taking a look at it, is to look at this in this reflection in more than one perspective, more than one way. So if you were working on let's say, a belief system, right? So you want to, of course, you're going to look at it from your mental aspect and also the physical, what your world is like and shifted. But also to do a reflection on how it affected your emotional state and also your spiritual body. So you want to do this reflection in different perspectives. So you have some depth to it, not just breadth, but depth to it. Yeah. Hey, Cindy Lynn. Good to see you in the chat, Cindy Lynn. Good to have you here. Good afternoon. It's nice that you're here with us. And so in the reflection, there is some active doing to it. Not a lot, but there is. because we're taking in that shift that we did and to understand it as best we can from many different perspectives. Okay. Yeah. And just as a gentle reminder is to call in your spiritual team when you're doing the reflection. If there's something that you think, I don't know if I understand that piece, or man, what just happened, right? Is to call them in so that they're with you and they can help you to understand what you just experienced with some clarity, right? Some clarity, especially if you're going deep. If you're covering your four bodies and you're taking it in and reflecting that situation or that event in that way, you may need some extra support, and your team can certainly help you with that. It can help you with that. All right, so let's see what Kyle has to say about the seer. The seer, he says that it isn't about predicting the future. It's about showing you how your intentions are being created. All right, that our intentions, a seer can help us to see our intentions, that they can change. And when we change our intentions, we can change what we're creating for our future. And the future could be in the next second, not necessarily 5 years from now, but it can change. And so when we change our intentions, we change the outcome, right? And it's okay to change your intention. It's okay to even fine tune it. That you're working on, I don't know, manifesting the next career opportunity, right? And so when you realize that, yeah, but you know what? I don't know if I want to stay in this particular genre of whatever it is. I want to try something else. And so you can fine tune it. You can even shift it. So we have that ability because we have free will, which is a gift. We have free will. And so we have the opportunity to be able to shift what we're manifesting, what we want to bring in when we shift our intention, right? Cindy Lynn. Love that description. Thank you, Cindy Lynn. Thank you. He goes on to say that that the message of the card is to let the clairvoyant within you rise up so that you can see the way forward for yourself within your spiritual eyes. Within your spiritual eyes. And that doesn't mean that we can't reach out for help. We certainly can. But I have to say that when we can do that for ourselves, it's so empowering. It is, it builds our self-confidence and our trust in our intuition, right? Yeah. And when that happens, your outlook on the world changes too, because you're very capable, more than capable. And so when you tap into that part of you, and they're saying the clairvoyance, we all have every single clair. Every one of us do. It just depends on which clair that we're most adaptable to and that we bring in the most information through, right? I call them the primary, secondary, tertiary. So what is your primary clair? It might not be clairvoyance. It might be clairaudient. And so you're asking your team to bring it in, the information, right? And so that you can, if you get the information and you change your intention, you change the outcome. He says that clairvoyance isn't just about predicting the future. It's about being able to see clearly enough to create your best future. See clearly enough to create your best future. And in order to use our gifts, we have to do our healing work, right? We have to clear the debris away, the interference away. And so we're doing our inner work so we have more access to our intuition and to our gifts. You're being encouraged by your ancestral guides and angels to see beyond what you're thinking is happening now. Instead of seeing yourself as a stuck or lost, know you're in an energetic holding space while the universe recalibrates the path that is more favorable to you. Okay? I like that sentence because it goes along and supports this first card, right? So when we're doing the reflective work and we're taking in what just occurred and we're in the integration time, right? He says that, that you're not energetically stuck. The universe is recalibrating a path that's more favorable to you. So as we do our soul growth, right, that the universe creator is busy recalibrating things for us so that it fits us better. And sometimes we get impatient, don't we? That we just did all this work. Now, let me see how this turned out. What's going to happen? And so then we get impatient with the divine timing and how it unfolds. And sometimes I think that in that impatience, we tend to try to force it to happen because we're tired of waiting. And some of that, I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but some of that is part of our Western society. It's that drive-through mentality, right? You drive through, you order your food, you pick it up at the next window, and you're out of there, in very little time. And so sometimes I think that we feel that should happen in other areas of our life. It should happen quicker. Now, I'm not saying that it can't. I'm just saying that to have the patience to allow it to unfold in the divine timing, right? That if you're in the integration space, is to spend that time reflecting on your strengths and the growth that you just had, learning from it, going deep within to understand it, and taking care of yourself. Take the naps, go get a massage, drink that extra cup of coffee that we just talked about. And so you have the ability to kind of slow down a little bit and allow it to really sink in and to really take root. And as we're doing that, our spiritual team, all the way on up to each dimension, to the creator, they are adjusting, recalibrating that path for us so it fits the new us, the us that just did all the shifting. I think, I kind of like that. For those who just joined us, I need to go a little bit early today because we have a show coming up right behind us that I'm producing and co-hosting. So I need to be able to start that show by 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's why that's why I'm spending focused time on this one, okay? Because we have 3 cards. This is a third card. Father Sky. Don't you just love this card? I do. I love that eagle and how they have Father Sky depicted. You got the lightning bolt in there. Can you hear the thunder? That's my clan, Thunder Clan. So Father Sky. Father Sky. You know, Kyle says something in here that I had to sit with for a little bit, because he says in here that Father Sky is the name the Native Americans and many other indigenous tribes have given to God. Now that could be true. There probably are some that have given that name to God. But in my culture, that's not quite true. And I'm going to explain in a second. So Father Sky, it says, trust in the unknown. Trust in the unknown. It says, trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it needs to. You have a personal relationship with the Great Father. Know that He is lovingly leading you forward. Trust in the unknown. So when we're in that integration time, in that lull, and we're doing that reflecting, and we're using our intuition to understand what transpired, what we learned, looking at our strengths, is that there's a place in there where, in that recalibration of our path, that there's a piece of an unknown. And I do believe that we sense that. Now, it might not be sensed with the mental mind, but I think that we do sense it in our other bodies. And that could be why we get kind of impatient with waiting for the rest of the story to unfold for us, right? Yeah. And so we're being asked is to trust, and trust in that piece that we don't know about, and that we're waiting for it to happen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tina says Lakota people say Father Sky in prayer. Yeah, they say Wankantanka, and they use it in two different ways. Wankantanka would be the way it was explained to me anyway by one of the elders, Lakota elders. Barbara Dunlife explained it to me. She was saying that in their language, Wankantanka is like the sun and the stars, and up there. But it is also used in a way, in depending on the sentence that they use it in, it could mean God. It could mean God. So they have. It depends on how it's used in the sentence you said. Yeah. And in the Ho-Chunk language, it's Ma'una, and that's earth maker, creator of all things. But there's also a creator of creators, right? And in Potawatomi, it is Kechimanado, and that is the great mystery. That's the great mystery. And so we have a different word for Grandfather Sky, and it's the Gamisho Masay Nan. And so we have two different words for it. Whereas the Kechimanado is, you could call that God, I suppose, in English, but the looser translation is the great mystery. Yeah. And Tina's saying, my husband does. Oh yeah, that's good. Yep, holy. That's right. That's right. And so I just have the way he said it is that, and many he says that the Native Americans and many other indigenous, it's not quite right, because he puts it kind of like in a more broader stroke, and it's not quite correct. And so anyway, he goes on to say that you are a co-creator of your life, and every thought, feeling, intention, and emotion you have is creating the road ahead. When this card appears, you're being guided to step back and get out of your own way, because there is a greater power that is not only around you, but within you. And Father Sky is creating the best experience imaginable for you. Accepting this will allow miraculous energy to come into your life, so you see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle on the card. from a higher perspective. Yeah. All right. So with these three cards together, and and looking at it in the pattern that has been set for us, is that we're in that space where we're in integration and we're in reflection, especially after yesterday's conversation, because I do believe that there were some of us that, even if it was just I want to think about that a little bit more. Is it even possible? Or maybe somebody decided they were going to face a fear that they have about being their true self. And that's a huge step, right? And so what we're being asked to do is to reflect on our strengths, the life lessons that we've learned, the wisdom that we've gained. We're in an integration time. And that span of time is individual. It's unique to each one of us. We're going to take as much time as we need. Some might need less than an hour. Some might need hours or days or weeks, right? And then we're being asked to see it from with our intuition. To go deep and look at it from many different perspectives. And to trust. To trust. This card talked about it too, trusting in that recalibration, trusting in the unknown, and really trusting in ourselves and our connection to the Creator. I know it's a mouthful, isn't it? It's a mouthful. I don't know. I think it's pretty good, especially the part where there's this pattern that we're being given. And if we can get into the flow of it, right? And we have the tools to be able to help us do it. And so we're in an integration period. And to be kind to ourselves, but to do the reflective work. It's just not sitting back and eating candy. It can be, but we also have the opportunity to really understand the growth that we just experienced in many different perspectives in all of our bodies, and really take it in, really, and be prepared and get prepared for the next leg of the journey in that new calibrated path. Yeah. All right. Bobby is saying, not afraid to share. Growing up, lived mostly in the fear state as a child, left home as a teenager and had to be a she-wolf. Grew to be a fearless, engaging mom and wife. Thankful for my very strong and loving, sometimes pushy guides. Reflection, my intentions are knowing my manifestations are my choice, and I always choose the happy road energy. That's good. Thank you, Bobby, for sharing that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. I just got a couple minutes left here before I have to scoot and get ready for the next show. About that grounding piece, I had asked earlier about, who had done their grounding. And and I shared, I don't know, a couple weeks ago maybe, that for Christmas, Paul and I were wondering, we hardly ever get each other a gift for Christmas because, we should get something for the house. This year we decided that we were going to do the Ancestry.com. And that was a belief system thing that I had to sit with for quite a while. It wasn't like we said, yeah, let's do it, and we did it. No, that took me weeks to mull over and, dealing with belief systems and that sort of thing. But we did it. And I did it for a different reason than Paul. I did it so that we could use the DNA information. I'm going to be contacting Bob Huntington over in Michigan to do the analysis on the DNA strands to see what kind of supplements and that sort of thing will help me have better communication between my my DNA, right? My genes. Okay. So, and Paul did it because he was curious about his genetic makeup. And so anyway, his results came in, I think it's almost been 2 weeks. Not quite. And mine had actually made it through many of the different stages before his did. And then I got a note from Ancestry.com saying that my results was going to be in by the 18th of January, which is almost 2 weeks after Paul's. And he goes, "What happened?" And I said, "I told you." They saw Native American DNA and they're taking it apart and they're looking at it, and he says, "Oh, there's some fear." And I said, I know, I got to work with that, right? So anyway, it came, and talk about shocking, that I'm 80% Native American. Well, I already knew that. I knew that I thought we had the French Canadian, and what was shocking of the whole thing is that there was is it 6%? Which isn't a lot, right? 6% German. It's like, what? I was expecting French and Spanish, but no, it was like 6% German. Holy smokes! I have to take a look at their Germanic belief of spirit, right? And that kind of thing. So was it a little bit of a shock? Yeah, because I took a look at it very early this morning. It must have been, I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock or 10 after or something like that. Yeah. So that was a little bit, that's where the grounding stuff comes in. So I wanted to share that with you because it's brand new. I'm still sitting with it. I'm in that integration period. I also have some research to do and some meditations to do with it and talking to my spiritual team. But so there's some ancestry there that I was unaware of. And so what kind of information are in my blood and bones that comes from the Germanic indigenous people? That's what I want to find out. Yeah. So with the cards, with the information that we shared today, anything that resonated with you, please, I encourage you to pick it up and embrace it and see how the energy unfolds for you and how this information could be helpful. If it didn't resonate with you, don't worry. You can just let it go. It's fine. There's always tomorrow. And tomorrow's live stream and card draw information. Yeah. Tina says, I'm in an integration period too. Yeah. It's that lull, isn't it? That lull. Oh, Tina, just went through my head. Is we should make a really good meal, a Native American meal. I think I have some dried corn saved. Get some deer meat out, some venison, make corn soup, maybe some fry bread. That sounds like a good Native American meal, doesn't it? It's a pampering thing. Now, if I could only get somebody else to make it for me, that would even be better. But that's comfort food. All right. So anything that resonated with you, right? Embrace. If it didn't, don't worry about it. There's always tomorrow. I like these cards. Look at those blues in there. The blues. I like that. Kind of matches my background and my shirt. And if you can, join Minnie and I in about 10 minutes and for nature adventures. And we're going to be talking about the element of earth and the month of January, hibernation. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And oh my gosh, the pictures that Minnie shared, gorgeous, aren't they? So if you can, join us. It's coming up at the top of the hour at 4 p.m. Eastern. Tonight is Soul Connections at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's an evening of divine healing and messages. So there's a healing meditation. So if you have something that you want to work on, your own healing work, your self-care, that's a good place to be. And if you would like to have a card drawn for you, just come and stop by and spend some time with us. And Polly Jo, she draws. Anybody who wants a card gets a card. Last week, I think we did 55 cards. Yeah, because I produce her show. That's why where the we comes in. Yeah. All right. Bobby is saying excellent cards today with the reflection. I know. I loved it. Love the message. Tina is saying a holy man told me once that color comes from a good place. Mm-hmm. I believe so. I would agree with him. Yeah, that blue. I know. I love that blue. All right. Well, I have to go get prepared for nature adventures, and we'll see you tomorrow, okay? At 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and the card information. So, Bama Mina, until we see each other again. And I love you guys.